Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here again with another 70s DD um, Drive-In Massacre from 1976, a slasher movie, pre-Halloween. Uh, it gets a bad score, 3.7 on IMDb, and I watched it. I have to say, I would give it at least a 5. Give it a watch. It's actually not bad for a 76 movie. The acting isn't bad, and the kills are pretty gory actually. Even more so than, yeah, Halloween didn't use gore, but like Friday the 13th, it's even gorier than Friday the 13th. Directed by Stu Siegel. I looked him up, but he didn't do a lot. He does play the police captain in this one. So what's happening is you've got a bunch of murders happening in this drive-through theater, and the coroner says it's done by a narrow blade and a long blade, like a samurai blade. And so two detectives are put on the case. A guy, the actor's name is Bruce Kimball, Detective Cock, also known from BJ and the Bear, a TV series. I never watched it. But then you have John F. Goff, Detective Leary. He played in it two Carpenter movies, The Fog, as one of the fishermen that gets killed. The first three fishermen that gets killed by the fog ghosts on the trawler. Yeah, he also plays in They Live from Carpenter. Don't know what he did in there, but he's in two Carpenter movies. And you even have a small role as for George Buck Flower. So all these guys, so at least two guys from Carpenter movies, from John Carpenter movies. Cool, that's cool. Um, Now the first kills happen in this bald, this guy that owns a drive-through. He's a bald-headed motherfucker. He has this vagrant who helps him for pennies and leftovers, and he's the guy who's going through the flashlight, to inspect everything. And the first couple gets it's the guy gets his head slashed off. You see it, and the woman gets her head. It's pretty gory, like I said. Gets her head slashed off so deep that her head is hanging half off, and the blood's spewing out, and she falls out of the car, and the blood's spewing in her face. It's pretty gory. Now, of course, these two detectives are investigating it, and again, two murders happen. And you have this peeping Tom always looking, and he's going out of his car, and then he's looking over the hood like this, thinking that he's like incognito or something. But I don't understand a drive-through. That's a really hard place to kill people, right? With a samurai sword. Nonetheless, if he had a small knife, maybe. But like I said, the vagrant is the controller. He's the investigator going through the lanes, and the peeping tom. He just you would see this guy just if you do your job, you would see this guy peeping into cars, and eventually this couple is hugging each other, and they get a shish kebab blade so through both of them. And eventually then the two detectives are put on the case, like they were already on the case. They go to Peeping Tom's house, and he eventually says he's just being a peeping tom, and the police says don't ever go to that drive-through again. The next night he goes, and the thing is, the detectives go to incognito. So one of the detectives, I think Leary, he goes as dressed as a woman, and it's a little bit of funny bantering in between and saying, "Oh my God, we're just married and we already have problems," or like this, it's a funny banter, but it doesn't get funny um, later on because one guy is horny as fuck and the girl wants to see the movie. Wow. Okay, he goes for to take a leak to steam off some, maybe jerk off in the woods, who knows. And when he comes back, he wants to kiss her and her head falls off. Then we also see that the peeping tom's throat is slit, and this happened under the noses of the cops. Now personally, if you have 6 murders in the same drive-through, not in another drive-through, you would send backup, right? You have guys in civilian clothing, in cars with a female cop. You would have and pretending to make out. You wouldn't have a guy cross-dressed that looks like a fucking guy, or a really ugly woman, and then have cops because it was surrounded by trees. Have cops in the trees, like a special unit. Fuck, man, they never ask for backup. These two detectives never. And then something weird happens, and because the bald asshole who owns the place isn't really work, he wants to keep his place open. Even not after 6 kills, people still go there. How fucked up is that? And then like I said, he says no cops anymore. Fuck you, I'm gonna get a court order and I'm gonna put the place full of cops, right? That should be the case, right? But normally you would have some backup. You have police. I mean, you would have at least 4 police cars, incognito, with a female police officer and a male, and then maybe some in the woods checking shit out, right? Because a guy going through cars, you know, and using a samurai blade, because if you a samurai blade that's like this big, you need to stand up and do your thing. So it should, all these cars are flat, and then you see a guy standing up with a shiny object, you got him, right? And then something happens that's weird. So they shift to this guy in a warehouse, which is George Buck Flower, and he has blood on his shirt, and he has not a sword, but more like a machete. So I knew that wasn't the guy. And he's yelling, "I want my dinner! I want my dinner!" And he has this girl, 12, 13, 14 years old, in his arm. "I'm gonna kill her if I don't have my dinner." and he's yelling that, and eventually she bites him. She lets loose. She's running through the warehouse, and he's going after her. "I didn't mean to kill you. I'll kill you if you. I won't kill you if you bring my dinner." And instantaneously, how I don't know, Detective Cock and Leary arrive at that warehouse again without backup, without even one patrol car helping them. It's like they didn't have any cops. Even in the police station, it looked like they didn't have any cops except the police captain, and that's it, and their office. It was weird. I think yeah, it's a low budget movie, but until this point, the movie kept me going. But from this point on, the movie had me scratching my head. Okay, so because there's something else happening. So you've got that guy. They go in. One takes a shotgun. One takes his handgun, and another guy goes in, who's hiding behind the dumpster. He goes in with a 9 millimeter. Who the fuck is that? I don't know. And eventually it becomes a shootout because this guy is shooting at the police. I don't know who the fuck he is. And he can be the killer because that's not the killer's MO. So I was thinking, what's this guy's problem? And then they see George Buckflower standing there. I want my dinner. And then the other guy says with the gun, says, "Stop." He just does. It's like 3 salvos in his body, and he just acted like, and he was standing at least 15 feet away. Okay. And then behind him is the guy with the 9 millimeter, and he gets a shotgun blast through the body. Who the fuck are these people? Then the daughter comes, and you know what she says? You shouldn't have killed my daddy. My daddy just got freed. He escaped. He escaped from the mental institution. He killed my mommy. He's the only one that I've got, my daddy. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay. He escaped this morning. So you know he's not the killer. He's just some random crazy guy. And the other guy is never explained who the guy with the gun is. So that's where the movie kinda lost me. And then the vagrant is fired, has to pack up, but before he packs up, the police is there because they kind of befriended him. He was helping them, looking around, for a potential killer, and they felt sorry for him. And then he goes into the bald guy's projector room, and this other girl that works the booth says, "No, you shouldn't do that. He's very angry. I don't care. He owes me money." He goes in. We see on the projector screen that he's being hacked to pieces by a long-bladed sword, so a samurai sword. Now you think it's the vagrant, because the bald guy used to be the grounds used to be a carnival, and he was a sword swallower, who put swords in his mouth, and he had an entire collection, and the vagrant got the collection. So then people think, oh, it's the vagrant, he's the killer. So they get in, find the bald guy chopped to pieces, and they say, where is the vagrant? Where's the vagrant? I don't know I don't remember his name. And they say, the only room out of here, the only room is that room, you can't get out. So what happens is, they open the door and they find the vagrant guy, throat slit, and stabbed again, pinned against the wall, dead. And there the movie ends. It's basically, the movie begins with August 10th. Murders happen. And then at the end it says, copycat killers all over the US are killing people in drive-through theaters. It's become a plague. The suspect was never caught. Boom. And I didn't look it up, but if was it real? Was that a real based on a real story? So what I liked was the gore. There were a few tense moments. The acting between the two cops was funny at times. Their banter, the acting was okay, fine. But what I did not like was that the cops never used backup, even when four people already got killed in the drive-through. The only thing they do is put a sting the two detectives, and that's it. Not backup again. Then they end up in this warehouse. How? I don't know. They didn't get a call, as far as I know, or I fogged out. I don't know. And you have George Buck Flowers standing there yelling like a retard with this machete like blade, and he wasn't a suspect. He wasn't a suspect. He was just a crazy guy, and they shoot him down at 15, 16 feet away. I don't think that's according to the book. And then the other guy with the 9 millimeter, he wants to shoot. I think it's Cock. Uh, no, sorry, Leary, and then Cock comes in with his shotgun and he blows him away. Now, who the fuck was that? He was waiting for the cops behind a dumpster and goes in. Who was that? Who was that? So that's a con. I mean, trying to have two red herrings and then have the vagrant as a red herring, although it wasn't that. So that was a con. That was a con. Like I said, also when they're doing their stakeout, and they, like I said, they don't ask for fucking backup. This drive-through is literally a drive-through massacre. That even people still go to this massacre drive-through is beyond me. I wouldn't go there. Never, never, ever, ever risking my. I want to keep my head on my shoulders. So some of the acting, some like the peeping tom was a little weird. It was like, yeah, I like to see women fucking each other. I like to see peep. I, I like to see. I like to peep. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. And the bald-headed asshole who thinks he's above the law, and he just is scoffing these detectives out. I mean, you can see that Detective Leary is going to want to punch his lights out, but he's standing there with his stupid jacket with flowers on. I would have, but the problem is, as a cop, you can't do that. You can scoff him out back, and we're gonna put fucking 10 cops on your fucking drive-through, and I'm gonna get a court order. Oh yes, I'm gonna get a fucking court order, and you're gonna have to listen. That's what's supposed to happen, at least. So the movie has its ups and downs, but for a slasher movie from pre-Halloween, and to be even gorier in my opinion than Friday the 13th, I have to say this movie gets a 5. It's a must-watch for a 70s slasher movie uh, that didn't have the inspiration of Halloween yet. It's not a rip-off of Halloween. It's his own thing. Um, I really recommend it. Don't look at the 3.7. Like I said, I like a lot of horror movies that are 3 point something. Honeymoon Horror, Island of Dead. All these movies, all these two slashers, I like them too, and they're also in the 3 point something. Not always listen to these points and these reviewers on YouTube and these assholes, and yeah, just give it a try. That's um, that's what I'm my advice I'm giving to you. So Drive-In Massacre 1976. I believe you can watch it free on YouTube and Tubi. And there you go. See you next time, boys and girls.